Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Zero Time Dilemma. So, we got kind of trapped in this alternate timeline storyline that didn't go anywhere, where at this point you could have had Fi and Diana jump to a different timeline, and then they do an escape room, and then you need an 8-digit code, and I don't know what the 8-digit code is. So we have to get that from a different timeline, almost certainly. And then nothing happens. There's just a lock here to prevent the storyline from going any further here. So ideally we're trying to find more storylines that would be up higher, not lower. And we are running out of options, certainly, at this point. Let's see. We have the chainsaw, bad ending, which we've seen. And generally, if we see a bad ending in other timelines, then that probably is an indication of when the main story is going to move forward. So, like, ideally you want to make sure you can see all three characters in the screenshot, which it looks like that is likely to be the case here, and likely to be the case here. So let's do this one. This game is kind of odd in how tight it tries to keep each of these segments to be about 90 minutes long. Like, clearly it was designed to be played in bursts when sitting on a subway or in a bus or something like that.
The vote was at 13:30, so we slept for over 10.5 hours.
Well, not necessarily.
Right. Zero explained it earlier.
Once 90 minutes are up, an injector...
There seems to be 3 timelines that are being shown here. Though.
We might have
slightly after midnight.
So,
right
up
before, several hours before midnight.
Something horrible could have happened, and we don't remember it.
And I can't even think about it without getting chills.
The weird part, though, is he said that 3 characters would not forget what had happened.
So it's like usual,
and we haven't seen
trapped?
a single
drink to pass
timeline where that is the case.
There's a lot of things we can do
it
here.
Seems like everybody still forgets everything.
In 90 minutes.
But it could be that the people who voted, the team leaders.
Drink, did you?
Well, we are 22, you know. I'm no longer that little boy who played old maid with you years ago.
Is that so?
22.
True. Looks, tastes, and
as characters.
Other superficial things change with time. But there must be something inside you that's still the same. Swimming.
Maybe we're getting some actual voiced backstory between Junpei and Akane.
You protected me, didn't you?
What about it?
The Junpei from back then, he must be somewhere.
Says the one of us who changed first. No. You might not have changed at all. It's just me seeing things I missed before.
Let me tell you something, Junpei. Say what you need to, while there's time to say it.
Carlos!
The hell? You make it sound like I'm some brat who lies to himself.
Once, I couldn't save my parents because of my inexperience.
You?
Wait, you weren't a firefighter
All of a
then?
sudden, we're getting
I was 18.
Carlos's backstory. I wasn't really expecting that.
I'd come home after buying a birthday present for my sister. At that point, I'd arrived before the fire department had. That's why
Carlos, I'm
So
here!
Carlos' backstory also
I'm
is
over here!
2 siblings and a mother and father.
I managed to save my sister.
I wonder if that's
Not
a
my
theme
mother and
that's
father.
true for
It
several
was
characters.
because of their support that I could become a firefighter. And I was never able to even thank them.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Seeing this cutscene, you kind of can see
Kinda
how
brought the mood down.
the desire is
Anyway, I
by the
just
writer
wanted
to
to say,
focus on Carlos, and
I
just
don't want the two of you
Junpei and
end up having
Akane
any
have been
regrets.
crammed
If you
in
have
as
something to
extra
say,
characters.
say it while you're alive.
Huh.
I wonder if the
While
game would
we're
feel
alive.
that different,
Please
really,
don't say that.
if it was
It's
just
bad
3
luck.
characters in 3 different areas.
Good point.
Hmm.
Okay, let's find a way out of here. That is the first step to staying
And we've got the
alive.
guitar music being really extreme. Yeah, and I guess I have to leave it up to you whether you think Junpei really looks to you like a 22-year-old anime character. The old joke is Asian doesn't crack either, as far as you just can't really tell too much of the difference in age of Japanese people in real world, that they might be 25 or they might be 45, and it's hard to tell. And particularly in animated form, in anime form, which is not reflective of reality, then a character can be pretty much any age at all. Sad Man 570. Not supposed to ever drink it. It's so bad. Wine experts everywhere lose their will to live after tasting it. It's like Pandora's box in wine. It's alright if you open it, but please don't drink it. No other labels visible. Records. Like the idea of vinyl records being around in the future timeline. Sign set 24. Let's see. We'll take the matches. So we're seeing numbers all over the place. Small wooden box. Should we combine the matches with the wooden box and just burn it open? Nope. Are we even trapped in a room? It's so weird that some of these aren't. We're not trapped in here. And some of them we are. I also kind of feel like we're jumping between different characters too, as far as which character we're actually playing as. There's a combination. There's a bunch of numbers. Oh, we've knocked it down. It's minus, plus, and such. And all the kings are cut in half. Alright, well, let's just do this math then. Let's see. I can't really read all of it. The queens and jacks have no number, and what about the ripped kings? We need a more clue, I guess. Although most people would just assume that a jack is 11. It's a bunch of pictures, certainly. Funya Ripa. Funya Rippo. I have no idea what that is. It's just a memorial plate. And then you have the Westerner Carlos there go, I like the Japanese flag too. It's simple and elegant. So they're just complimenting each other. And clearly the creators of this game have some reverence for American movie type ideals and thoughts, certainly. United States. Otherwise they would have just chosen to keep this series of games all set in Japan with Japanese characters, or not even mention it. Alright, this is quite the letter chart. Yeah, I'm just not really reading a lot of this, so I'm not getting a lot of the backstory. Almost certainly my experience would be better if I actually did commit to reading all of it. So this is a jam that his sister liked. Chess rule book, are we supposed to check this? Okay. Everything seems, for the most part, accurate there as far as the rules of chess. They just wanted to make sure you knew how to play it, but we need 2 pieces if we're going to play it. We don't have a coin to play a slot machine. We don't have a coin to play a jukebox. We'll take oil. Let's try the matches on the candles. Nope, can't do anything there. Now I have a fire hook. Let's combine the fire hook with the box and see if we can break it open. No. There's quite a lot of stuff going on in these rooms. I wonder if it wouldn't be better to have 3 rooms that are just connected and there's like only 1 or 2 puzzles in each room, and each room should just be fairly empty. Okay, let's count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 by 3 is that grid. So if we then look at the letter chart, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, it is 12 by 3, and the red and black definitely is the hint also there that those are supposed to line up. So we need the one in the middle on the second column, and then the one at the top on the 7th column. Yes, that would be 7. And then the one in the middle on the 9th column, and the one at the bottom on the 10th column. So S, then 7th column would be I, and then N, and then P. Doesn't that seem like it would spell sins instead of simp or snip if you spell it around? Nope, it's S-I-N-P. Okay. Let's try that. S-I-N-P. in P. Not every code has to have an actual code to it, word to it, but I guess if we move the letters around, that would spell spin. And so now we have a roulette wheel, and it is another one of these coins. We've seen this before in a different timeline. Okay, Sad Man 570. Records don't seem to make any sense. If we try to put a coin in here, that just gets rid of it from our inventory. And then we just lost our coin, didn't we? So we can't come back and spin it. Okay. Well, it spells the word chess upside down. The E is mirrored. But why is the E mirrored? I think we gotta find another chessboard. Alright. Need a card here. Just make a heart. Add odds 35%. There's no power running through it. Supposed to use a fire poker with this. Or are we supposed to use the matches with this? Once again, the fireman is ending up fireman ending up having a puzzle built around fire seems suspicious. Alright. Let's just throw this into the fire. Junpei, no, what did you do? You just gotta have faith with these things or else you'll never move forward. So we've now burnt up the wooden box. So I guess the fire hook is probably to pull out the box. But we need to put it out first. And I doubt the roulette wheel is to put out the fire, so. Unless we're supposed to pick up this alcohol and put that on the fire. That doesn't make any sense. What am I supposed to be doing? Is there water here? Yes. Now we have a bottle of water. Put out the fire. And kind of inappropriate to have to use so many items in one place. Like, you had to use matches in that place, you had to use the box in that place, you had to use water in that place, and you had to use the fire poker in that place. If you were going to have just 3 characters instead of 9, 1 in each room, I don't know if that really improves anything, really. You still have the fire poker, by the way. Like, in a lot of ways, I imagine you might as well just go the next extra step and have one character go through all the puzzle rooms, and then you have basically the beginnings of like an adventure, point and click adventure game. Yeah, and I think that very possibly is in part where my desire to love these kinds of games comes from, is that if I was playing a point and click adventure game, if there was more focus on the storyline throughout all of the gameplay instead of the sharp break between BEERs being spelled, the sharp split between the escape rooms and the cutscenes, I would appreciate that a lot more. And yeah, I just don't know if breaking the group up makes sense, or if you really need 3 people. You probably need 1 person to be suspicious of other people, certainly, because if you were all alone, then there would be not really any antagonist, and the game would become too puzzly. So I could see 1 companion character, even 2 or 3 companion characters, but I'd say just keep them all in the same group for most of the time, maybe split up a little bit here and there. Well, see, the thing here is I'm not really able to read this. So, if this is supposed to be 1, 7 or 1, 8, 3 minus 10, 12, 12, 9, that number would be gigantic, plus plus 9, 4, 12, 5, 8. 11. That number is just going to be huge at that point. So 183 cut in half, if that's what this is supposed to mean, would then be 91.5, which that doesn't really make sense. 8 cut in half would be 143, which, okay, maybe that makes some sense. So 143 minus potentially 5,000 and who knows what. Yeah, there's no way you're going to solve that, and no way you're going to get a 3-digit number solving that. But this really is a point where you need to be able to pop up a button and like say, hey, give me a hint as to what the next step is. Right, each S would be a 5 if mirrored, 6 is an H, 8, but that leaves a C since it doesn't look like a number. Could be a 0. 55640. Okay. Where would we put in that code? Just needs a card to unlock the dice. Jukebox 803. There's just like something we're totally missing here. It's just a visual thing, and this is basically the second time we've done this where we've run into trouble figuring out what the next step is. Let's just make sure. Yeah, we've only locked these two things. This pry, you're not going to be able to use the fire hook to pry it open. Oh, I guess you are. That's funny because that's something I really shouldn't expect since we've seen so many other floor things pop up by electronical means. Alright. Awesome, we got it open. Now we have a hammer. Just a generic wooden hammer. It does have an X on one side. So it's just saying hit this. Okay. Answer is fairly simple in that. Use the hammer there. Hit the C with the hammer. That loses it. A cylindrical piece came out. So now we have this thing that we can deal with, but we need to put in a combination to unlock that, and to get the combination we need to look at the board. So you have a tower here, a king here, and a bishop here. Okay, so tower, bishop, king. Now go back into this. Tower, bishop, king. Yep. And that gives us another coin. And now we have a different note, which the note really shouldn't have been locked in there. There should have just been a note somewhere else you could find it. But they want to make this so linear. Alright, well, first thing to do is to place this on the stand. Okay. Second thing to do is look at the wheel. The wheel is maybe going back here. Nope. Okay. So then the number note says 5, 28, 21, 26, which would be 5, 28, 21, 26. So that note was really just to help us find the spin solution, and so that's an extra note. I've noticed that we've run into that as an issue where it's possible to miss some of these hints, and there seems to be not really any reward for not missing any of the hints. He's 21, I guess, red. Yes, okay. So the reds and blacks all match. Oh, I see what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to put that up here I could easily see a lot of players not figuring that out, though. Make a heart, it says. Let me get 777. Wow, what? 3 7s on the first spin? Jackpot. Well, something small came out of the machine. So now we have a bunch of puzzle pieces that we're going to have to assemble into shape. I assume they want us to place them here. Alright. This can't be that hard, can it? I guess the question is, can we rotate things? Doesn't kind of feel like we can. Well, that's not gonna work. Let's see. Click a piece to rotate the piece. Okay, good to know. It says click a piece to rotate a piece. When you're playing with a controller, what would that be? D-pad's not doing anything, right stick's not doing anything, left stick click's not doing anything, right stick click is not doing anything. Right bump, right trigger, left bump, right trigger. Right bump and left bump, when hovering over it, does spin it. Okay. I wonder if this is a case where things are going to overlap, or if we're going to need every single extra spot we get. I think we're probably going to need every extra spot we get. And it would make a lot of sense if this wasn't red on red. Certainly. There's a star picture here that I think is going to play a big role. You could kind of cheat on this, certainly, and overlap things, or you just have it hanging off the edge. This is probably the worst piece to play with. There's not really a thick outline of the other pieces either, so figuring out which pieces match potentially become even more of a challenge. Straight up white one. Straight up 3. This one needs to be here. This one I think needs to be here. And then I would suspect this one needs to be here, but doesn't absolutely have to be here. It could be somewhere else, but it would be somewhat difficult to pull off. Though, notably, a lot of this is going to be really difficult to pull off. See the... And if they connect well together, they seem not to be leaving a shadow, but if they're misconnected, they seem to be leaving a shadow. So, game maybe is easier than it seems. Okay. That oddly seems like that fits, but I don't think they want us to make these kind of mistakes. Now the problem I'm noticing is you have these like little yellow dots, and for that piece in particular, there's really no reason why this wouldn't fit in any kinds of orientations you might pick. Unless the yellow dots are supposed to mean something else. But I don't think they are. I think they're supposed to be the surprising revelation pieces. Now, if all these connect correctly, does that mean they are in the right place? I mean, they kind of feel like they would be in the right place. Okay. Hit that one. Put that one there. Spin that around and we should be able to get that in the right place. Well, we did it. Not particularly an easy puzzle with the controller. Not easier or better with the controller. And maybe that sets everything perfectly aligned, but maybe it doesn't as far as these yellow dots, unless these yellow dots just don't matter, because like I could certainly do that, do that, do that. That one actually makes it feel a little bit more aligned than that. That feels off, misaligned. Yep. I made a heart shape, something came out of the bottom, a coin and a card. Yeah, and it just seems like it's a lot, really. Card calendar. A lot to have happen. Interesting, you have it both as an item and as a note, too. A lot of puzzles. Well, once again, eliminate things so we know if we can eliminate it. We're not really doing anything too big. Alright. So now we look at the note. If queens are December, so 12, does that mean it's spelling out letters let's try this as spelling something else out. Ace 8 3 would be J A M No, it isn't. Yes, it is jam. But it's jam because, not because it's A, but because it is 4. Right. So jam minus 10 queen queen 9 or 5 queen queen 9 is the solution. Right. Jam minus 5 M D D S. That doesn't make sense. MDDS. Yeah, MDDS. Oh, well, the third word's gonna be very hard. 9-4 queen, and then, or, yeah, the split in half there doesn't make any sense though, because 5 divided by 2, or split in half, is not right. Could you even spell a different word, something DDS? 9-4 queen, let's start with that. Just see what that starts to spell. S-A-D. So, yeah. And then 5-8 jack. Maybe the cards ripped in half don't mean anything. Sad M-A-N. So it's the jam number, which was 100, minus MDDS, whatever that is. And plus sad jam, which I think we have the solution there in general, just because I bet this is 130 milliliters, which I don't know how you would get a milliliters out of MDDS though, but you kind of don't have any other choice. It's not like there's other things with numbers on them. So it's 100 minus 130 plus 570. That gets you a number. It gets you 540. If my math is correct. Which I'm playing this in large bursts, so my math may not be that correct. But we can't do anything there until we can get this going. which I guess is why we have this card with a barcode on the back. It went in and the jukebox started playing music. This sounds like music from one of the previous games. The jukebox also has a number on it. Oh look, those buttons look like the dice fell out. So yeah, there's maybe some other places with numbers that would have acted as potential red herrings, but not enough of them. So we just have regular dice from the looks of it. Clearly this wants to be a melancholic scene. Okay. Actually, since it's dice, you have a better a smaller number of combination possibilities anyways. Alright. That's the end of the music. Now we're just back to the rest. 570. $100 minus 130 doesn't get us anything, a number that ends in 1 to 6. Sunset 24 would work. But how would that be the right answer? 100 minus 24, let's just guess that that is the right answer. Then add 570 to that, which would be 670 minus 24, which would be 646. We'll try it. There's something I'm missing here. Why would only the kings be ripped up? Okay, the kings are ripped up because the numbers only go up to 12. Okay. 10, queen, queen, 9. Then with nothing being cut in half. Odds. Oh. I was just looking at the wrong thing completely. Yeah, it's odds. So we need to just find odds. Something that says odds almost certainly. Here it says odds. 35%. 100 minus 35 is 65 plus 570. It would be 635. There we go. And I was overly complicating it. which I definitely should have just tried the more simplified idea first. Overthinking the puzzle. Coins come out. Now, part of the problem though is we've seen flashes of other timelines, so it's not really a spoiler to say I've seen either in a trailer teaser or a flash that one of these guys opens up and a machine gun starts shooting out of the chest of one of these statues. So we're kind of expecting that to happen. Am I really expecting another puzzle? I don't know. Like, doesn't really kind of feel like that. A lot of these rooms feel like you could come back later. In the first game, there was a room you could go back to and find a note, but going back and finding a note, I don't think really mattered too much until it like 20-30 hours into the game, almost completely done with the game. So we'll push the button and we'll see what happens. And I'm still not really sure as far as who we're actually playing as, whether it's Junpei or Carlos or Akane, or whether it switches between them or not.
The rules to the decision game will now be explained.
Decision game.
Rules?
This decision game utilizes the 3 dice located during the room search.
So, these then.
To begin this game, each player must take 1 die and roll them together on the dice table. If all dice show a 1 on the side facing up, all players win. The
Odds are
door
low.
will then unlock, and all the players will be able to escape the room. However, if even a single die does not display a 1, everyone in the room will be gunned down.
What? Oh my god. What the
Doesn't
hell is
really
this
feel
shit?
like a math
This
puzzle
isn't
or a
even
trick.
a fucking game.
The time limit is 1 minute. If all of the dice are not rolled within that time limit, everyone will be gunned down. Those are all the rules. Good luck to everyone.
What are the odds?
Huh?
The odds will get all the dice to roll a 1.
It's 6 to the power to 6.
It's 1/216th, so about 0.46%.
0.46?
Gatling guns operational in 30 seconds.
Shit, there's no time.
Duck
Just roll
behind the
them.
bar.
Ah, god damn it! I can't.
Maybe
die
they're
here.
loaded
There's
dice.
still something I need to say.
Huh?
10, 9,
And so maybe you
Okay
only
then,
lose
here
if
we
you
go.
don't roll.
Come on.
Pray hard. If we pray, then it's gotta.
I don't even know what the decision here would be. Roll the dice. That's your decision. And see, this feels like it wouldn't just be knowing an answer and sending that back in time. This feels like you straight up have to affect your odds and challenges. Well, quickly flip them all upright on as one. They didn't say you couldn't manipulate it after the fact.
Wait, that one doesn't count.
Your hand slipped. That was it, right?
Yeah, what she said. You wouldn't mind a little do-over, right? 0?
Yeah, you would have been
Okay,
better
I'll-
off
I guess you're not the most-
just taking that minute to dive.
There! Get on the other side of the bar! Hurry!
Look at how there's no background there. It's just black under the bar.
This should work.
Now, were we supposed to take note and see the numbers that were rolled? Does that matter?
Now announcing the current casualties. Q Team, Q, Mira.
All of Q Team is dead.
D Team, Diana, Sigma. C Team, Carlos, Junpei, Akane. These 8 are now deceased.
So only one person even survives. See, he keeps wanting to give this ring, I think, to Akane and propose to her, but at 22, that's fairly young. For maybe not that young for Japanese people. So you save and do what? Like, from that flow and that timeline, let's see, which memory did we just even engage with? Cinema run away, decision to bomb. Yeah, that's not it that we just did. We just played on Carlos's team, and in that memory, what did we do? Yeah, I don't even see in either of these flowcharts that memory even happening, as if that was completely out of a timeline that we're following or something. It's just not here. The stranded pair, transport, that's not it. Monty Hall problem, anthropomorphic, the 3 dice, the 537 reality game over. So that is locked. And so we have to figure out a way to cheat at dice. And I guess we'll go back to this flowchart and see if we can go the other direction, but I imagine nothing changes that way. Just skip.
What? Oh my god! Just roll them!
Alright.
Ah, god damn it! I can't die here! There's still...
So the only thing I could think you could choose to do here is just not roll the dice at all. Like, menu-wise, there's nothing you can do. So just sit for a minute and refuse to roll the dice. Like, we'll see. I do have a clock in front of me, so that isn't too crazy to know when a minute has passed. But it does seem very weird that you would just have to sit and not roll a dice. Actually, you probably only have to sit for 30 seconds if that was going to be the case. This would be the first instance of actually being on a timer and the game really not saying that you're on a timer. But yeah. Jumping behind the bar, didn't work. Doesn't feel like there's any other place. Hiding perhaps behind the armored people might have worked, but chances of being shot that way by a stray ricochet is pretty high. Also, changing the dice after they landed on the table, since they didn't say you couldn't manipulate the dice after the fact, would be a thought too. It seems to me like somewhere in this room, even though I have no idea where it would be, there has to be a pair of loaded dice otherwise, and that would certainly make a lot of sense. The candles are things we didn't interact with, the records are things we didn't interact with, the cigarettes we didn't interact with, the posters and the clock on the back of the wall we didn't interact with. So if a different timeline shows us that we can actually get a loaded pair of dice and use them instead, then your odds would go up, and then you get a different timeline. And more than likely, if that is accurate, if my guess about that is accurate, then this timeline is probably a gate in the middle of unlocking another thing. So you go through this timeline and you get a good ending, and that unlocks another locked section. Yeah, and at this point I think it's been well over a minute. I do think it would be weird if they do give you a time limit to run through the entire game a second time. Even if they hint like that is what's going to happen, that really should be more of a cutscene than an actual challenge. Only speedrunners, I imagine, really would want to run through all of the correct true ending timeline in 90 minutes. Alright, we've been long enough. We'll roll it again, and we get a different random number.
Wait. Yeah.
And nothing's different, so we can just skip through all of that. I seriously doubt the game wants you to just randomly go through that over and over again. That noticeably did not unlock anything new, and we are getting very close now to running out of timelines. So eventually here we are going to have to unlock something. Yeah. Yep, so I seriously doubt it wants you just to reload and do that over and over again. It may very well be a case, though, that you get loaded dice in this branch of the timeline, and then he just, like, looks inside that ring or is holding dice instead of the ring for some reason, or looks inside of his pockets, one of the characters does, and finds that he has dice. That would be one way, even if you are getting your memory erased, to help yourself, certainly. You know what would be really sadistic is if it turned out that each of these escape rooms were being set up and designed by themselves, and then they're given the task in 90 minutes to set up a challenge, and he says it's for the different team, then he erases their memory and makes them solve their own puzzles. Although it would be fairly easy, I think, for somebody without their memories to solve a puzzle that they create for themselves. They just already have that base knowledge that they wouldn't have forgotten. Yeah, and maybe we'll have to do like this branch, or even this branch, before we can finally do this branch. There's definitely, and fairly obviously, a case here that you don't get down this path until we do something more. Whether it's finalize these different endings, or whether it is that we have to finalize all of these branches first. And almost certainly that does imply that this ending probably is the first ending you have to get. Maybe it's like the second ending. Maybe there's another ending you can get without any gatekeeping. But you do have this odd problem, certainly, in that the global flowchart here is disconnected to a lot of the sequences we're seeing. And on top of that, the actual narrative in my mind is just this jumbled jigsaw puzzle. It's such a mess. Like, I don't think any of the events that we've seen so far, and we've been playing for quite a few hours now. Like, the game thinks we've been playing for 30 hours, and I wouldn't be surprised if we've actually been playing for close to 15. Which that is a lot when you realize that none of the timelines we've seen so far matter. Or they matter in the sense that they're giving us hints to unlock the true ending timeline, but we haven't seen even a bit of the true ending timeline. Perhaps when doing a gimmick like this, perhaps it would be better if we got some flashes of a happy ending, even if it was just a flash of somebody surviving and somebody escaping, just so it gives some small hope to the player, or some small hope to the characters in the storyline and the player. Anyways, I guess we'll end it here. That's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every watch every video I have on YouTube. There's a bunch of social media links down below, and if you want a friend to follow me, I am losing brain power here, falling asleep. I need to call it for tonight, certainly. There's a link down the Patreon if you want to support me, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a gift card or game off my wish list. Yeah, I very much muddled through that ending. That's it. Thanks for watching. Have a good evening.